Hey everyone, this is Olay from Laddering Your Success, and you're listening to the LYS Podcast. About a year and a month of episodes here. So happy you're riding along with us during this journey here, and so happy to be here with you on another Sunday. I'm here with my co-host that I'm normally here with, Festus and Olay. Festus, how you doing today?
Good, man. Like you said, it's been a year, bro. Most podcasts only do 3 episodes, and by God's grace, man, we've been in this thing. So what they say, consistency is the only cheat code. You know what I'm saying? So we out here winning.
Yeah, Festus got the podcast stats. Festus got the podcast stats for days, man. Also blessed to have Jamark Crawford. Jamark, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, how you doing, brothers? Happy to be here on this Sunday afternoon.
Doing good. Thank you. And of course, Daniel Hill, the evangelist. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm good, man. Just eating like always. You already know what I be doing.
For sure. It's Sunday. Sunday meal. You know what it is. Well, we are very honored to have someone in the community, someone who's representing the community, someone who's given back, who's found their purpose, who's found their calling, and is giving back in a wonderful way by having a scholarship through AAPOL. We're going to be getting into that a little bit later. But DeAndre Hutchison, how you doing today, sir?
I am doing well. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna have to get me one of them Laddering to Your Success shirts now that I'm an official family member, man. So send me my shirt. I wanna represent just like you guys.
Most def. We're gonna have to get with the VA. Put it out there. Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for coming.
For sure. Happy to be here.
All right. So, DeAndre, tell us a little bit about the AAPOL. I believe that's African-American Police Officers League, right?
Okay. So, I'll tell you a little bit about AAPOL. AAPOL is the Afro-American Police Officers League. It was started in 1975 by a man named A.V. Young, who was a police officer. So you got to understand that policing in the 70s presented its own unique set of challenges, if you will. We weren't allowed to formally. A lot of the meetings were underground, if you will, secret meetings. A lot of people that really didn't want to see an organization like AAPOL be formed. But as you can see, 45 years later, we're not only formed, but we're growing and thriving. We were put together to support African-American, Black and Brown police officers here in Houston during very, very turbulent, tumultuous times between police and the African-American community. So therein lies our twofold mission, where we not only support Black and Brown police officers, and we support any officer that it becomes a member, where we have members that are of all nationalities and races. And not only do we support them, but we also support Black and Brown communities, which is why we have the AAPOL Scholarship, a community scholarship where anybody can apply for community-wide funds just to continue our mission, which is kind of like to bridge the gap between community and police. So like I mentioned, I'm a 5-year veteran of the Houston Police Department. I'm also the immediate past president of the Afro-American Police Officers League and the co-chair for the AAPOL Scholarship Committee. So this AAPOL scholarship is something that's very near and dear to our hearts. It's how we connect with the community. And I encourage all of your listeners and anybody listening to, if they know a graduating senior, to encourage them to apply.
So let me, if I could, let me interrupt for a second. Let's backtrack to when you were in high school. Did you know that you were going to become a police officer, or was it like, hey, I'm gonna go do something else? Because I heard these rumors about a young man selling sandwiches out of his car back in the day. And so what was it like, man? Was it always your dream to become a police officer? Or tell us about that.
Okay. All right. So absolutely, man. No, I can't say that I always wanted to be a cop. I mean, I thought it was cool. It was something very fun. I always wanted to, be the good guy and when we played cops and robbers, right? So I was always the cop, and when we played those games. But I knew I wanted to do something in business. As you mentioned, I had entrepreneurs back in high school. Man, I was slanging sandwiches and drinks and chips and candy out of the trunk of my car to anybody who would buy it. I had a hustle man slogan: if you want it, I got it. If I ain't got it, I'll get it. So get it while the getting's good. You get what I'm saying? So, but yes, that's what I did when I sold mostly to the football team or whatnot, but some of the assistant principals over at Hastings and Elsick and Taylor, A-Leaf schools, if you're familiar with in the area, I did that. I love doing that. And I made some nice money doing it. I was clearing over $200 a week in profits, which for a high schooler, that was money. That was some major money, right? With no bills, living at home with your parents, $200 a week. Back in, and like you say, back in the 2000s, before inflation hit us, and the recessions and all this other kind of stuff we're going through. But no, I knew I wanted to go into business. So I went to the University of North Texas and studied accounting, actually. So when I started on my accounting journey, I started doing internships. I joined the National Association of Black Accountants, where I received numerous scholarship dollars from NABA, the National Association of Black Accountants. So I was on my scholarship journey. I had the dean of the college write most of my letters of recommendation, and it was just a phenomenal time there at the University of North Texas, where I then subsequently pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the oldest and the coldest fraternity, Black letter Greek fraternity in the world. But all of that aside, I was there to get an accounting degree, right? So, and I did that. I graduated with my accounting degree. And then I went on to join the #1 accounting firm in the world, which was at the time was PricewaterhouseCoopers. So I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers. I studied for my CPA exam, and I was a CPA, and I was a certified public accountant doing taxes for oil and gas companies here in Houston. My life was set, and I was perfect, right? Quite the contrary. I only liked my job on the 1st and the 15th, which was payday. And I dreaded it any other time. And I was stuck behind this desk, oftentimes in conference rooms without windows, banging out tax returns. And I was just like, there's got to be more to life than this. So I made, every day I would walk past the Houston Police Department recruiting office. And going back to that office, it just, it always was something, I felt like it was something pulling me, right? It was pulling. So I eventually turned in my 2 weeks notice to PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I went to try my luck at being a police officer. A lot of times in the accounting world, especially when you're doing taxes, they have this saying that goes, like, hey guys, calm down, settle down, take the edge off. We don't need to be all stressed out. We're doing taxes, not saving lives. And I took that to heart, and I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna stop doing taxes. I'm gonna go across the street and try to save some lives, right? So that was where I found myself following my passion, my true passion, which was to help people, which was to see other people succeed, which was to always reach back and lift as I climb, which is the motto of NAB, lifting as you climb. So like I say, man, y'all probably need to partner with them, man. They lifting as they climb. Y'all the ladder for your success. It's all intertwined somewhere. But I got to my passion job, and I love being a police officer. And then, like I say, I became the president of the Afro-American Police Officers League shortly thereafter. And man, it's just been a phenomenal ride. So thank y'all for what y'all are doing as it relates to education and helping people find success and helping people find opportunities right here locally in their community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. But thank you for being like a living example of what it means to truly find your purpose. Man, that story sounds very similar to my story. Festus can tell you a little bit about that, when I was up there messing up journal entries and stuff like that.
Go ahead, share it.
What was that thing? Microsoft GP? Oh man, I used to cause so much trouble with things. Oh, I used to get in so much trouble. It was bad. The way I like to say it, my CAO didn't like me and I didn't like her, and we were both cool with that. Like, it was just understood. I remember one day they were ready to let me go. Well, they were threatening me. They were like, oh, if he makes another mistake, he's going to be out of here. And I was like, fine, let me. And they were like, and my accounting manager was like, no, don't leave. I was like, I will put in this too, because I just hated the job so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
it's the accounting thing,
I know. I was right there with you, Doc. I was right there with you, man. I'm telling you, man. It's and I hats off to the people that are able to do it. I know many of my friends that are still in it and they love it, but like you say, man, it takes a special person, and it takes a special person to know that that's not your niche. So like you say, to be able to throw in the towel and, like you say, follow your passion, find your purpose, and do something that you really believe God is really calling and drawing you closer to. So that's where we're at now, right?
Absolutely. But, speaking of passion, speaking of purpose, talk to me about what you do now on a day-to-day basis. You mentioned earlier, you loved your job on the 1st and the 15th. I know but now, you're still getting something on the 1st and 15th, but is it a little bit different now that you find yourself working in your purpose and your passion?
Oh, for sure, man. Like you say, I talk to many of people, and they tell you, like, if you love your job, you'll never work a day of your life. And that's where I'm at now. I thoroughly enjoy getting out of bed. Sometimes I put on a uniform, sometimes I put on a suit and tie, and every day new challenges are different. And I really do. I really can't say that I love it. And what I am now, I am the supervisor over the differential response team, which is DRT for short, and community service officers. So I supervise 8 officers where their job is literally to go out in the community and solve and resolve issues. So we work with council members, we work with schools, we work with the high schools, we work with the elementary schools. I love going to the schools doing talks. I just did a talk at an elementary school last week, and just talking about careers in law enforcement, seeing kids excited about careers in law enforcement, because this really is, in my opinion, the best job ever. We get to really proactively approach problem solving. My unit is a proactive unit where we go out and try to resolve quality of life issues. So that's dealing with your homeless population, our homeless encampments, which is a huge issue here in Houston. We deal with nuisance abatements, meaning anything that you need a permit for, my guys will do some of the enforcement related to that. So that's dealing with all of your clubs, all of your sexually oriented businesses. That's all of your loud noise complaints. That's all, like everything, your parking complaints. If there's a business right next to your house and they're being a nuisance to your standard of living, quality of living, our officers go out and proactively try to address that. We deal with the food trucks, we deal with the food truck parks, which, like I say, when they do it the right, they can help and beautify the community and make it very attractive, right? But when they're not, and they're doing things that are causing a nuisance to the community, that's when we have to kind of step in. But we typically go for voluntary compliance in most issues. But like I say, that's the enforcement side of it. But like I say, we get a joy and a kick out of doing our TAPS program, which is Teen and Police Service, then as well as our Explorers, where we invite 13 to 21-year-olds into the police station, provide mentorship. We teach them some of the things that they'll learn in the academy, but it's like to develop this pipeline for young students that are interested in careers in law enforcement to learn and be mentored by police officers. So a lot of people don't know about these programs, but there are tons of programs that are going on at your local police station that if you're interested, you can get plugged in. So these are the things that a lot of times our Explorers actually graduate from the Explorer program and then actually start the police academy or start the FBI academy or go into the Army. So there are a ton of different avenues. Our police chief, Troy Finner, was in fact an Explorer, before he became a police officer. So there's a lot of things. The Explorer program has been around for decades. But that's what my officers do. So I'm the supervisor over that unit for the Midwest Patrol Station. So we have Explorers citywide, but I'm near and dear to the Explorer Post 7277 at the Midwest Patrol Station, because that's where my guys work and that's where I work. But hey, I'm excited about anybody that's wanting to pursue a career in law enforcement. So that's my day-to-day, and I love it.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. I love that code name right there. 7277. You know, you gotta say that, let them know, let them know where they at. You know what I mean? I
Explore
love
Post.
it.
Come check us out. Look us up, man. We got many trophies, man. Many trophies for our post. So I'm excited for sure.
That's awesome, man. But you know, the thing that I heard when you were talking is like the breadth, like how wide your reach is. You know, like I had no idea that the breadth goes that far out. You're touching homeless, you're touching food trucks, sexual oriented business. You have reach within the community, within the schools. And so, man, that's amazing when you think about your purpose. I'm telling y'all folks, if you're an accountant right now, you got to rethink your life. You can really get out there and make really positive, impactful change. I know, you know, hey, the taxes aren't going anywhere. All right. You know, there's always going to be people to do taxes.
Tell them.
You know, there's always going to be people out there doing taxes. It's just something different when you get it out there and you're just reaching out there. And I think the power of what you do, and I think about, you know, Jamark and Daniel and I, and you do a lot of seed planting. And the thing the thing about seed planting is you're throwing seeds out there and you'll come back, you know, 2-3 years and they'll be like, you don't remember me? You did that with me. And then, you know, and I'm doing this now. It's like, oh, snap. You know, you totally forgot about it. And I think
let me tell you, you said that. So let me tell you a story like that. I'll never forget this guy because he's actually in the academy now. So we were basically on this campaign after we started looking at the recruiting numbers at the Houston Police Department, and we saw the trends that we were not happy with. And when I say we, I mean AAPOL, the Afro-American Police Officers League. So we were like, hey, we can do something about this. Let's go out and let's start doing some recruiting drives at churches, partnering up with Bishop Dixon, who's the pastor bishop over at the Community of Faith. We did a recruiting drive at his church, and we brought out recruiting. We did this whole thing, and it was an amazing thing. It was about 40 or 50 people from the community that we were basically trying to shake the community tree to get some good fruit to go into our police academy so we can start seeing some positive changes and, you know, making sure that we have good people from Houston going into our police academy, right? Man, this guy, and I'll never forget, I was there at the academy recruiting for AAPOL, right? Because now we have to recruit at the academy because as soon as you come in, we want to hook you early, get you plugged in, get you involved. So I'm there recruiting for AAPOL, the cadets, and this one cadet comes up to me and he was like, hey, man, you don't remember who I am, do you? And I'm like, man, honestly, I met a lot of people. I don't. I mean, but can you refresh my memory? He was like, man, I went to a recruiting seminar that y'all put on the north side. I was like, at the Community of Faith at Bishop Dixon Church. Because, you know, that was one of the inaugural things during my presidency that we had did. And I remembered it. And he was like, yes, I was there. And I'm like, look at you now. You graduate in the academy. Man, this is what we were trying to do. Like, you're a product of what we wanted. It was great. His name is Jonathan Bond. So if y'all see Officer Bond out there, man, just tell him, hey, you know the person that recruited him to HPD or whatnot. But yeah, man, it was a surreal full circle moment for me, for sure. So I'm glad you brought that up, man, all the time.
Those moments right there, those are full circle. Those are gonna stay in your mind forever. Those are beautiful moments. For sure. So yeah, man. Oh man, I just, like I say, I can't get enough of, you know, what AAPOL is doing in the community. We just had a Black History program this past Saturday. I wasn't able to attend. I was out of town. But also at our last meeting, I just want to put this out here, man. We celebrated one of the first African-American female K9 handlers. The K9 unit at HPD has been around since the 60s, I believe, the 60s or the 70s. And this is the first time that they've had a Black female K9 handler. And we didn't even know when we were helping this sister get in K9 that she was the first. We didn't know she was going to be a trailblazer like that, but she was. But like I say, man, it's just like, you know, but those types of things, and of course the Afro-American Police Officers League, you know, championing that and celebrating her it's what it's all about, right? It's all about, you know, providing
people opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have had if it not had been for some kind of help or assistance by an organization like APOL, for sure.
No, absolutely. Speaking of, you said you were talking about the Black History Month project and everything that APOL is doing. Tell us about the APOL scholarship.
Okay, so yeah, man, we started the APOL scholarship has been around for a while, and it used to just be a scholarship for African American or our members' dependents, right? Which is like how a lot of scholarships start out. Like you have a association or a group of people, and they want to give scholarships out to their people, right? Like if you're a member of this organization, you have a kid going to college, you want to help them be successful. At some point, and I can't take credit for this, but at some point, APOL realized that, like you say, we have this twofold mission, not only to support our members, but also support the communities in which we come from, the communities that have supported us, right? So we are products of these communities, and we started raising community funds with our annual scholarship gala that happens typically in October or November. So we have the scholarship gala, and we raise the scholarship monies, and then we award those monies to deserving high school seniors in the spring that are going to be going to college in the fall. I was a product of a lot of scholarships from churches, from organizations, from small businesses, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's hugely important that all of your listeners and people listening to this podcast understand that you want to apply for local scholarships right here in Houston. And Houston has a ton of them. And like I say, the APOL scholarship is one. So you go on our website, the AAPOL, AAPOL.org. That's our website, AAPOL.org. And you can download the scholarship application. And it's an essay, a very short essay, 400 to 500 words, answering the prompt about how can police better connect with high school students. It's that simple, right? And we're asking you to fill out the scholarship application, write your essay, and then you'll be considered for some scholarship monies. I can't tell you how much. Like I said, it's money out there. It's money out there to be made and be had to support some kids, some deserving high school students going off to college to further their education and to get a degree.
Now, if I could chime in real quick, how many awardees are there? Is it one person winning or is it multiple people winning?
Man, I'm going to just tell you like this. Last year, everybody that applied won something.
Wow.
Everybody that applied won something. But that, like you say, now that we on the Laddering for Success podcast, that might change this year.
Blow them numbers out the water.
You're going to come in there. Who is Olanaka? You got a 36-year-old dude applying for the scholarship?
You have to be a graduating senior.
Let's get sturdy, guys. What's up with it? No, but don't mind us.
That's funny. That's funny.
So you were talking about so what exactly are you looking for in a winner when you're making these decisions? I know you said last year everyone who applied got a scholarship, but is there something in particular you're looking for in a winner?
Oh, for sure. We want people that are involved in their community. They're interested. Careers in law enforcement is not a requirement. It's not a requirement, but we're looking for people that are trying to further their education, right? And they're serious about it, right? Like, we're not looking for the person that's just gonna submit an essay that they used on another scholarship, down the road. We're looking for people that are serious about their education. They pay attention to detail. They answer the essay question completely and fully and have a well thought out answer, because we do have English teachers that are our grader, and they're going to be grading those essays. So I'm not grading the essays. I'm not. English is definitely not my strong suit, but we have some English teachers that are going to do the grading. You do have to have a 2.7 GPA, and that's more passing grades than failing grades, what it boils down to, right? So as long as you're, like I say, you're serious about your education, serious about what you're doing in high school, you've made or you've tried to attempt, some community service or some community involvement somewhere, those are all pluses. But like I said, we're looking for people that are just trying to take that next step and get into the next level. And we want to help We want to help them get there. So that's what the organization is about. We know and recognize that there aren't a whole lot of opportunities for Black and brown students to compete for monies here locally. So we just want to put our name in the hat, and this be something that you can put on your resume, that you were an AAPOL scholarship recipient back in 2023. And like I say, I think it's going to be good. It's a win-win for everybody.
No.
And can I add something else?
Sure, absolutely.
We always recognize our scholarship recipients at our annual scholarship and awards luncheon that is generally held in June. So we do ask that, you come and receive your monies in person. If you're not already at school doing orientation or school-related events, we do ask that the parents and the kids come to the scholarship luncheon and allow us to present them in person at our luncheon. So that is another one of those requirements, which we haven't had any issues with in the past.
Free lunch? I don't think so. What we doing? You get free money. You get money for school and lunch. Come on now. What are we talking? I mean, seriously.
You get it.
Come on now, man. Thank you, sir. It was good. And I want to say this real quick. I went on the AAPOL website, and I gotta say, it is so easy to get to the scholarship.
Right.
I think it was just apol.org/education. Right. Mm-hmm. Just click the education
tab, right? And then you'll see the application, then you can download it. It's a PDF. And then you can, like I say, just start filling it out. If you have Adobe on any computer, or you can just print it out and fill it out by hand, that's fine as well. There's no points off for anything filled out by hand, because you do have to print some of the pages and actually sign them. We do ask for you to sign a commitment letter, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, very easy, very easy. So yeah, we're excited. The submissions have actually already started coming in. So like I said, the competition might be steep this year, man. It might be steep this year. So we're excited.
Wonderful. And when's the deadline for that?
The deadline for application submissions is March 20th. And that's boldly on the application, on the website as well. So you do have to get that in. And I mean, most of the time we always put it after spring break. So you'll have that week off from school. All of our seniors will have a week off. Just knock it out, get it done. Get it done, and then maybe take it to your English teacher. I'm trying, I ain't trying to get a keys to the safe away.
Nah, get a game. Get him the game. Give him the game.
Give him the
keys. We on ladder into success. Give him a little edge, huh? Give him a little edge.
Exactly.
Well, they definitely might want to take, their essay to their English teacher and just let her proofread it, just to kind of make sure the thoughts are organized, make sure they answer the question fully, and let them, critique it a little bit so the student can go back and make it the best that it could be, so they can make sure they're putting their best foot forward, right? That's what it's all about. Attention to detail, their best foot forward. I will say this, man, you got a lot of not Divine 9 at HPD, a lot of Divine 9 that are aware of the scholarship. So with that being said, that standard of excellence is definitely going to have to be there. So that's why I would make sure if it were me, and this is how, like I say, coming from somebody that's won over $60,000 in scholarships, I'm sure if I had to go back and total it all up, I would always make sure I answered the question fully, that I didn't have any kind of grammar mistakes that were obvious, right? Now with Grammarly and all these other, spell check, everything that you can do inside a Word now, there's really no excuses for that. So just make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. You always want to present your best effort. And then, like I say, even if you don't win, you know that you gave it your best. But like I say, most of the time when you put your best foot forward and you present your best self authentically, a lot of times that's going to carry a lot of weight. So
that's that game.
I think that's the key.
That's the key. Go ahead.
No, let Daniel go. Daniel.
Okay.
Oh, yes, sir. I have a question. You said that you have a program that gets you into academy. It was something like a program that, does the person have to be in high school, or can they not be in high school, like the program that you did at the church?
Oh, okay. So anytime I tell people about joining the academy, right? If you were going to be an engineer, you might go to an engineering firm and do an apprenticeship or an internship there. If you were going to be a plumber or electrician, you might go and after you get your license, you might watch another plumber do the job so you can kind of pick up tips and tricks or tricks of the trade on the job, right? So trying to become a police officer is no different. And I would advise anybody to have a mentor. And what we did at the church was we not only cast this broad net to try to recruit these people to come and join and apply with HPD, but we also partnered them with a mentor that could show them the way. And that's going to be key. You definitely want to partner up with a mentor and not just apply to the Houston Police Department. Because I'm gonna tell you this statistic, and this is something that we discovered. And I mean, like I say, if you pull the stats, it's public information, but African-American police officers apply the most. We are the group of individuals that apply in the largest number, quantity-wise, right? So let's say out of 100 people that apply, let's say about 30 or 40 of them are going to be African-American, 10 Hispanic, 13, 12 white, all so forth and on down the line. But we apply in the biggest number, and we also get denied in the biggest number. So the percentage of denials is huge. And that's just because, in my personal opinion, people are not, one, putting their best foot forward. Two, they're not using a mentor. A mentor can show you where the pitfalls are, and they can help you navigate them to make sure that you don't fall by the wayside. So there are a significant amount of people that subsequently actually become great police officers that get denied their first time through. They get denied. Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, that's why this mentorship thing that AAPOL does, I think it's second to none, and it's out of sight. It's really how it sets us apart, and it helps you get in the door. Because like I say, this is one of the greatest professions on earth, in my personal opinion. Obviously I'm biased, but you definitely want to have a mentor that can show you so you don't get weeded out or eliminated from the process undeservingly. Because there are people that we do have to unfortunately eliminate because of certain things.
Them charges on their background.
They got that work.
I wasn't gonna go there, man. This the black and brown. I see a lot of black and brown people on here, man. I don't wanna pass judgment on nobody. But no, man, like I say, this is a calling. And just like anything, you have to be called to it. It's a ministry. I know a lot of people don't look at it like that, but when what we're looking for is that we're looking for people that are going to be the good police and really take this job seriously because of the impact that it can have on the community, for sure.
And definitely on that note, I kind of had to backdoor part of what Daniel was saying and what you were kind of alluding to. Obviously, when you graduated high school, we didn't have as many publicly racially charged police incidents, right?
Absolutely.
And so now that you are on the other side of things, knowing, again, how people could just do knucklehead stuff like selling sandwiches out their car without a permit, you know what I'm saying? and that type of thing where some people might look at that and be like, yo, that's criminal or whatever, right? What have you. But we just understand, being from the inner city, we look at things differently, especially if we're trying to get our hustle on. So kind of tell us about that perspective in terms of youth and young people. Obviously, educators are having discipline issues in the classroom. And sometimes you guys are called out to that, and so, I mean, obviously it's just a critical area I see that you're talking about, where it's like, we're coming to you, we're trying to get you on the police force before somebody catches you up and whatever. So just talk to us about like that kind of that struggle, that dichotomy of like inner city versus policing versus, things that have happened, George Floyd incident, Eric Garner incident, all those other things.
Right. Man, you said a mouthful there, man, and I'll start with this. I've been to so many schools at the request of administrators wanting to talk to kids about bullying, wanting to talk to kids about sexual assault. No means no. What it means to be cool, trying to fit in, being a part of the in crowd, like all of these topics, man. But like you say, I've been there. I was that kid. Man, it was so easy, trying to be recruited by gangs. You know what I'm saying? All of these things where the gangs are recruiting our kids at a younger and younger age to do things where we're finding kids that are still in their school uniform that are breaking into houses. Man, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, man. And like I say, that it helps me realize how important this role of actually being at the school is, man. It is. We have to be at the schools. We have to be involved and entrenched in the schools. And I'll tell you this real quick story, man. The relationship that our officers have with these HISD police and these HISD school administrators. The other day, February 2nd, I believe it was, when they had that shooting and the kid ran to school. It actually got a random citizen to drop him off at school. Whatnot. The reason that we were able to get that situation under control so quickly when Wisdom High School was on lockdown was because of the relationship that our officers have with the school. So we immediately got there. We immediately locked it down. We immediately found the guy, got him in custody without any incidents, et cetera, et cetera. So he was involved in a police shooting because he got caught in the act robbing somebody. Then left that scene with the weapon and made it inside a school. And we were able to get him in custody very quickly. You like I said, you can Google it and see the story for yourself. But like I say, really just highlights how important it is that we have a relationship with our schools. So I say all that to say this, that it's so critical. It's so critical. I understand. I was a product of an organization called Young Life, where I got plugged in, and I started basically turning my life over to Jesus Christ, and taking part in that. I feel like it really saved my life, and now that's a thriving organization. They're still spreading throughout. Oh, he said you can preach. Oh yeah, I'm giving you the politically correct answers. But no, seriously, Young Life. I think Hollop may have just had, and some of the other schools are starting to have Young Life and Club. So I'm excited about the things that are happening at A-Leaf. We still got a lot of work to do, a lot of work to do. But it is very difficult, and I think if we don't capture this generation, if we don't continue podcasts like this, we don't continue to put out good information about success stories of what people are doing that are from A-Leaf, Toby, Nwigwe, Michael and Martellus Bennett, Mike Brown, Vince, Ogabasi, like the list goes on and on and on of people that are just doing some pretty phenomenal and amazing things around the country and globe even. So, but it all starts with us taking responsibility for our community and understanding that we are the people and we are capable of making the change that needs to be made to save this next generation. Like I say, giving them the education, the tools that they need, giving them an opportunity, and then being in position, because that's another thing that we've had lacking. People in position to reach back and lift as they climb. So now we have a Black police chief. We have a Black mayor. He's on his second term. I'm going to miss Mayor Turner so much. I don't even know of anybody that can really fill his shoes or whatnot. But, I'm hopeful in our next mayor. But he's done a phenomenal job navigating the city through many crises, through many different things, So I'm excited. I'm excited about the role that I play in the whole equation. I'm excited about the role that you guys play being educators. Man, my hat's off to you guys. Man, they don't pay y'all enough to do and deal with what y'all are dealing with and putting up with in these schools, man. So God bless you. Like I said, y'all gonna have a bunch of gems in y'all's crown when y'all get on the other side, man. Because like I say, what y'all are doing, man, it's not for the faint at heart. And I believe that too. In fact, it's a calling. So thank you to the educators that are on the line, man. So like I say, we got work to do. We've came a long way, but it's still a lot to do. So yeah, did I answer your question, Festus? I don't know if I hit.
100% on point. 100% on
absolutely.
point. And this is the thing, you know, and the reason why I put that in the chat, man, is a lot of people, they think education by itself is the answer. And I'm a big believer that education by itself is not the answer. It's also the mentorship, it's the relationships, it's what you believe. It's all of these components come together that bring about a life, right? And I think that's one thing, you know, from a and this is why we kind of stand in that gap at LYS, is because, you know, teachers are trying to build you for academic success. We're trying to build you for like life success, you know.
Yes,
and
sir.
Life success is different than say, hey, I got an A. Cool. But once you get out of that classroom, now what you gonna do? And so again, to me, you know, I admire the hustle. You know, one of my hustles in high school was I was really good at, like, I was just really good at memorization. And so I used to watch History Channel growing up. So I just knew like history. I just knew a lot of history. And so when it came time to take the test, I didn't need to study. I didn't need to study for anything in that class. I just got the answers. Well, at the time, you could imagine a kid who lost his parents, not having a job. It became a side hustle to just literally be like, yo, here y'all go. Here's the answers to the test. $5, $10, you know what I'm saying? And that was my hustle in high school. And oftentimes, you know, people say, oh, look, that kid's a troublemaker. And it's like, well, no, that kid is literally just trying to eat. And would you rather have him selling answers to the test or selling drugs? Right. And I'm not trying to
preach.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that I was right. I was wrong. You know, I was wrong. I'm saying I'm wrong. You know, however, I think this is the component in terms of giving student voices and giving that voice to students, because students can't articulate themselves in those situations where they're saying, hey, I'm walking home to lights cut off. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking to live at my friend's house. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids can't articulate that and what it does to them emotionally. So, you know, we kind of, again, just want to bridge that gap and let people know, like, yeah, and to me, I think it's all faith in Christ. But if a component of that for some people is faith in Christ, then let that be that component for that man, you know, or woman, you know what I mean? Or that person, you know what I'm saying? So to me, you know, this nonsense where we try to give a one size fits all education is the key to success. Well, there's formal and there's informal education. And the thing is, when you go, and they've done research on this, when you go and look and you say, well, how did that person get that job? It wasn't the fact that they filled out the resume. It was, or the job, what did they call it? Application. It was the fact that they knew somebody, they had a relative there, you know, somebody kind of rubbed elbows and said, hey, look, you know, once you start doing interviews, they pull that application out. And now I get it, technology is a little bit different, but even still, somebody saying, hey, what are the right keywords to put in on your application, on your resume? These are things that we just didn't know. And again, if we're like you said, trying to save a generation or pull a generation out of fire and stop them from doing all this dumb stuff, you know, we need people like you who are sharing from that inside track, looking back and saying, look, all these kids ain't bad. They just, some are in a situation. How quickly can we help them get out that situation? So again, I thank you for your work, Jamark, Daniel, Olay. Can't thank them enough for just all they do in their support. So yeah, I think we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon. So let's get some final questions, everybody. Jamark, you want to maybe chime in?
Jamark said he's good. Daniel, did you have any questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, I just have a couple more questions. Because I was, my bad, I was asking for a friend because I was looking at your website just now because Festus sent to me. So I see it says women and minorities. So it's not just for African Americans, or is it for all, or is it focused on African Americans? Or how does it work?
You're talking about AAPOL, the Afro-American Police Officers League. AAPOL website, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, so yeah, we're you know how you know how I go, man.
Yeah.
We can't be exclusive, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
and it's not that we can't. We want to provide opportunities for everybody.
Yeah.
When we filed that lawsuit saying that the Houston Police Department's promotional practices were discriminatory, and we won that lawsuit,
Yeah.
everybody benefited. Everybody, women, minorities. So when you like you know, just to quote my dear frat brother Dr. Martin Luther King, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So
Yeah.
we can't say, hey, you're discriminating toward the black men but not forget about the black women. You're
Yeah.
discriminating toward the black officers but forget about the Hispanics and the Asians, because like I say, they were disenfranchised and they were not being represented in the promotional process as well. So yes, we allow everybody to come in, but if you go and look at our board of directors, you know, you'll see what you see. If you go and look at, you know what I'm saying, the representation and all the pictures at the past events, you'll see what you see. But I say that also to say this, that we're not excluding anybody. And like you say, there's enough room at the table for everybody, right? It's not a us versus them. We in fact pride ourselves on we're stronger together. We're stronger together. So we love and welcome any and everybody. If you go and look at our YouTube page, you'll see that we celebrate the accomplishments of our officers. Black, brown, blue, yellow, etc., etc. So yeah, anybody can join that as a police officer, and then we also have associate membership for people inside the community that just want to kind of join up and maybe support the cause in some way, shape, or form. But no, man, we're one of those organizations out there, man, just trying to, you know, make the best of our situation and provide the best benefits for our members in whatever that looks like.
Okay, yeah, man, because like she actually teaches with us, and she was like, she applied in. I don't think she said she made it the first time. I was like, man, what you just said was just right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you talking about she applied at HPD?
Yeah, she actually applied and she didn't make it.
For sure.
So
she didn't have a mentor.
Exactly.
She didn't have a mentor.
Exactly. So I was over messaging her about y'all. So she was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Nah, appreciate that shout out, man. But yes, man. Yes, bro. Like, I mean, call it what you want to call it, man. But it's just no secret. And like, you know, now that we're educated and we can get the statistics through the relationships that we have with the chief, with the command staff, with the prior administration, with the city of Houston, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now that we have the relationships, it's very little information that we can't get, and you can't argue with facts and statistics. Those are the facts. So, you know what I'm saying? So people would like to try to put their bias or, oh no, we don't have a problem. Y'all looking at it wrong. Y'all no, these are the hardcore facts, and numbers don't lie. And when you start hitting them with them statistics, man, they be like, all right, well, what we gonna do about it? And then now we can start working on some solutions.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
For sure. Thanks. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we got one more question just to wrap up the interview thing. And once again, thank you so much, DeAndre, for taking the time to give us these wonderful gems, these wonderful jewels. If you were graduating high school today, give yourself some words of wisdom you think others should hear or consider.
Man, I'm gonna tell them that don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of failure. I was super afraid. Like you say, I was a numbers guy. I was always, trying to go the safe route, right? Like, okay, I can see and visualize how I'm going to get from A to B. The ones that, that are hugely successful and are light years ahead of where I'm at, man, they really took a chance on themselves and high risk, high reward. That is literally an equation that is very instrumental and it's going to pay huge dividends in life. So don't be afraid to. Now, granted, it's not nothing wrong with having a backup plan. and having a backup plan to the backup plan, you know, because that was me. You know, I was one of the ones that was like, man, I'm gonna be a ball player. You couldn't tell me nothing. I'm going to the league, etc., etc. I have never been on an NFL field outside of the passes, outside of actually, the first time I stepped foot on an NFL field was as security at the Super Bowl 50 when it was here in Houston.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I got there. You know what I'm saying? But it was a very different route. But yeah. So what I will say, you know, and like I say, just wrapping it up, man. Like, don't be afraid of the failure. Don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Don't be afraid of the non-traditional route. There's many ways to skin a cat, many ways to achieve success, many ways to fulfill your purpose, and pray, seek guidance so you can know exactly what your purpose is, so you can get busy in that purpose sooner rather than later. Because the sooner you start to fulfill your purpose, the sooner you start to feel like life is worth living and life is meaningful. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I would tell my high school self, man. Like, just get out there, go after it, get busy. You know, you ain't got time to be on NBA 2K. I don't even know what they call it, Madden 2K12 and 22, whatever it is nowadays. Fortnite. Like, put them games down, man. Put them down. I wasted so much time. But that's what I would tell my high school self, man. Get out there, get busy, and start trying to figure out what your purpose and passion is, and get into it as soon as you can.
Beautiful. I couldn't say it any better myself. I think that's a perfect way to end that. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DeAndre Hutchison with HPD and with the Afro-American Police Officers League. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you, Jamar Crawford. Thank you, Daniel Hill, as always, for blessing us. Like he said, man, like Festus called it, 3 Musketeers, man. It's still wonderful working with him at the school, man. It's such a blessing. Thanks to you, Festus, man. You want to go ahead and close us out, Festus?
Yeah, like we always say, listen, there are legitimate excuses for not going to college. There is no legitimate excuse for not getting an education. We thank you for listening to Edu-Steps by Laddering Your Success. And so hit that subscribe button, right? So you could get the next episode. All right.
Oh, you still there? Well, thank you so much for listening to the LYS Podcast.